I remember the sound first, the hollow thud of my father's fist against my jaw, the way the music stopped, the way the laughter started. It was my son's birthday, his 7th. Balloons sagged against the ceiling, candles half burned on the cake. He stood there, eyes wide, clutching the gift I'd bought him with the last of my savings. And in front of him, his grandfather, my father, hit me like I was still 12. And the crowd laughed. Even my own mother's lips curled. "Leeches don't throw parties," she sneered, as if celebrating my boy was a waste. They thought humiliation was entertainment. But that day, while they laughed, something inside me stopped breaking. There was a time when I believed in them, my parents, their approval, their guidance. I worked myself bloody, trying to be worthy of their pride. When I had my son, I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd soften. A grandson could thaw their frost. I was wrong. He became another weapon. Every milestone of his, they twisted. Every joy of mine, they mocked. And yet, I kept inviting them in, because I was still that boy who wanted his parents to love him. But patterns reveal themselves if you stop crying long enough to see. The smirks when I showed up in cheap clothes, the way they whispered when I walked away, the way my son asked me, "Dad, why does Grandma hate you?" That one cut deeper than any punch. And then I heard them. Late one night, I'd left my phone recording on the table when I stepped out. Their voices spilled out later in my headphones. My father, "He's pathetic, can't even throw a party without begging." My mother, "We shouldn't waste time on him. The boy will learn soon enough his father is nothing." That was the moment. Not the punch, not the laughter, but the realization that they wanted my son to inherit their hatred, to believe I was nothing. No, not anymore. Revenge is best served like fine wine, slow, deliberate, and impossible to forget. I stopped reacting, stopped explaining myself, stopped giving them the satisfaction of watching me bleed. Instead, I started watching, documenting every insult, every theft, every manipulation. My father's shady business deals, I kept receipts. My mother's fraudulent charity donations, screenshots. The family friends who mocked me online, I knew where their skeletons hid. I didn't rage, I didn't confront. I waited. Because humiliation isn't erased by anger, it's erased by precision. Their arrogance was my weapon. They thought I was too weak, too soft, too broken to ever strike back. So I built the stage, piece by piece. The perfect day came sooner than I expected. Their anniversary, a grand party, dozens of friends, colleagues, neighbors, the kind of crowd they lived for. I made sure my son was safe with a trusted friend. He wouldn't see this part. This was for me. The room glittered with crystal glasses and false smiles. My parents stood at the center, king and queen of a kingdom built on cruelty. And then the projector lit up. Not with their wedding photos, not with family memories, but with my father's voice. "He's pathetic, can't even throw a party without begging." My mother's laugh followed. "The boy will learn soon enough his father is nothing." Gasps rippled, heads turned. And I didn't stop there. Slide after slide, video after video, every fraud, every theft, every confession. Their charities missing funds, their business bribes, their private cruelty made public. They tried to scream, tried to cut the power. Too late. I'd made sure backups played from hidden speakers, hidden projectors. The truth spread like wildfire, unstoppable. I didn't need to yell, didn't need to throw punches. I just stood there, calm, while their empire collapsed. I'll never forget my father's face. The man who once raised his fist at me in front of my son, reduced to a stammering, red-faced coward. My mother clawing at guests, begging them not to leave. But no one stayed, not when the truth was undeniable. And when my father finally looked at me, eyes wild, I only said one thing: "Leeches don't throw parties." The words hit harder than his fists ever could. They lost everything: business, reputation, friends. I didn't need to raise a hand. I just held up a mirror and let the world see what I'd endured all my life. Now, when I look at my son, I don't see pity in his eyes. I see pride. He knows the truth. He knows I fought back, not with violence, but with intelligence. And for the first time, he sees me not as the boy my parents tried to break, but as the man who refused to stay broken. People ask if I regret it, if I went too far. No, because that night at his birthday, when they laughed, they thought they'd written my story. They thought humiliation was my destiny. But I was already writing theirs, and I made sure it ended the way it always should have, with silence, shame, and the sound of their empire collapsing.